Long ago, in the kingdom of Eloria, where rivers glowed silver under the moon and mountains whispered in the night, magic was as common as breath. Every child was born with a spark, some faint, some strong. And the elders believed these sparks were gifts from the gods. Among those children was a boy named Kale, born during a storm when lightning struck the village's great oak tree. The midwives gasped because the baby's eyes glowed faintly blue, like stars hidden in water. "He will carry power," whispered the eldest midwife. Kale's mother, Eloria, kissed his forehead and said, "Then may he carry it wisely." Years passed, and Kale grew into a quiet, observant child. While other children played at sword fighting or racing, he would sit by the old oak tree and listen to the whispers in its branches. "Why do you sit there, Kale?" asked his friend Mira, a bold girl with hair the color of fire. "Because the tree speaks," Kale replied softly. Mira laughed. "Trees don't speak, silly." Kale only smiled. Because to him, the voices were real. Mira herself had a spark of magic, though different from Kale's. When she was angry, flames flickered at her fingertips, small but fierce. Once, she set Kale's cloak on fire by accident. He only laughed and patted it out with his hand, which strangely never burned. "You're not afraid of fire?" Mira asked, wide-eyed. "No," Kale answered. "Fire is just another voice." Their bond deepened as they grew older. Kale became thoughtful and calm, while Mira was bold and restless. Together, they balanced each other like moon and sun. But beyond their small village, shadows were stirring. Rumors spread of a sorcerer called Malguth, who sought the eternal flame, a source of power said to be hidden in Eloria's heart. Malguth believed the flame could grant immortality and dominion over every spark in the world. Villages burned, rivers dried, and forests withered under his search. The king's messengers rode far and wide, seeking champions to protect Eloria. One night, as Kale sat beneath the oak, the whispering grew louder. The tree spoke in a voice both ancient and gentle. "Child of storm and flame," it said, "you must rise." Kale shivered. "Rise for what?" "The eternal flame sleeps. You must guard it before darkness consumes it." Kale looked at the stars, his heart pounding. He told Mira everything the next morning. She didn't laugh this time. "If Malguth finds it, we're all doomed," she said. "Then we must go," Kale replied. "We're just two villagers," Mira argued, though her eyes burned with determination. "But two sparks can light a fire," Kale said simply. They left their village at dawn, with only cloaks, bread, and courage. Their first destination was the Crystal Cavern, where the flame's path was said to be written. The journey was not easy. Wolves stalked them at night, their eyes glowing red with Malguth's corruption. Mira fought with her fire, scaring them away. Kale discovered he could calm the beasts by whispering, his voice like the oak's whispers. "You're strange," Mira said after the wolves retreated. "I'm just listening," Kale answered. In the cavern, crystals glowed like frozen stars. In the center was an altar with runes carved deep into stone. Kale traced them with his fingers, and suddenly light flared. A vision appeared, a blazing phoenix rising from a mountain of obsidian. "The eternal flame rests in the phoenix's nest," Kale murmured. Mira clenched her fists. "Then that's where we'll go." But the vision was not unguarded. Shadows gathered in the cavern, swirling like smoke. From them emerged a man cloaked in black, eyes burning red. "So," the man hissed, "the oak's chosen boy. Who are you?" Kale demanded. A servant of Lord Malgith, the man sneered. And your journey ends here. The battle was fierce. Mira hurled fire, lighting the cavern like a storm. Kale raised his hands. And the crystals themselves began to hum. Light surged through them, striking the serpent with searing brilliance. The man screamed and dissolved into ash. Mira stared at Kale. You didn't tell me you could do that. Kale looked at his trembling hands. I didn't know I could. From then on, Kale's power grew stronger. He could summon whispers from wind, light from stone, and calm from flame. Mira teased him. But deep down she worried. You're changing, she said one night by the campfire. We're all changing, Kale replied. Their journey led them through enchanted forests where trees walked, through deserts where sand sang, and over rivers of liquid silver. In each place, Kale listened and learned, while Mira fought fiercely to protect them. They met allies, too. An old bard named Irinder, who carried stories like treasures, joined them. A thief named Saren, sharp-eyed and sharper-tongued, offered guidance through dangerous lands. Together, they became a small band bound by fate. But Malgitha's forces grew stronger. Villages fell, castles crumbled, and whispers of despair spread. Every battle brought them closer to the phoenix's nest, but also closer to danger. One night, Kale dreamed of the phoenix itself. Its wings were fire, its eyes ancient suns. You carry my flame, it told him. But I am not ready, Kale said. Flame never waits, the phoenix replied. It burns. Or it dies. When Kale woke, Mira was watching him. You dreamed again, she said softly. Kale nodded. The phoenix is waiting. Myra's hand brushed his. Then so am I. They reached the mountain at last. Obsidian cliffs rose like black teeth into the sky. Heat radiated from its core, and the air shimmered with flame. At the summit was the phoenix's nest, a crater glowing with molten fire. But Malgith was already there. Cloaked in darkness, his staff pulsed with corrupted power. Children, he sneered. You think you can defy me? We don't think, Mira spat. We know. The battle began. Malgitha's shadows clashed with Myra's fire. Kale stood in the center, feeling the mountain's heartbeat. He reached deep, calling the phoenix's power. Flame erupted around him, wings of fire spreading from his back. Mira gasped. Kale, Malgith roared, hurling black lightning. Kale raised his arms, and the flames consumed it. The phoenix's voice filled the air. Child of storm, bearer of flame, rise. Kale's eyes blazed with fire and light. He struck Malgith with a burst of pure brilliance. Darkness shattered. Malgith screamed as his body dissolved into ash, his staff breaking into pieces. Silence fell. The crater glowed brighter, and from it rose the eternal flame, pure and radiant. Kale stepped forward, trembling. What do I do with it? He asked. The phoenix appeared again, vast and magnificent. Guard it. As you have guarded all life, it said. But I'm just one boy, Kale whispered. One spark is enough, the phoenix replied. The flame entered Kale's chest, merging with his spark. His body glowed with warmth, his heart beating with new strength. Mira touched his arm. You're glowing like a lantern. Kale smiled. Then I'll light the way. They returned to their kingdom as heroes. The villages rejoiced, the rivers flowed again, and forests bloomed. The king himself knelt before Kale. "You carry the flame now," the king said. "Will you be our guardian?" Kale looked at Mira, at Irinder, at Saren. "I will," he said, "but not alone." Years passed, and Kale became the flame-bearer, protector of Eloria. Mira stood by his side, her fire burning ever brighter. Irinder sang their story across the lands, and Saren guided the lost with a sly smile. But Kale never forgot the oak tree's whispers. Sometimes, on quiet nights, he sat beneath its branches again. "Did I do well?" he would ask. The tree whispered back, "The flame still burns. You did well." Yet, even in peace, Kale knew that shadows always lingered at the edges of light. He trained new generations, teaching them to listen, to protect, to burn brightly without consuming. Mira often teased him. "You sound like an old man," she said. "Wisdom comes with fire," he replied. She rolled her eyes but smiled. And so Eloria thrived. But the story of Kale and Mira, of flame and storm, of whispers and fire, lived on. For every spark born in Eloria carried a piece of their courage. And the eternal flame, guarded within Kale's heart, ensured that light would never fade. Still, destiny is a wheel, and wheels always turn. One day, a child was born in the same village, beneath the same oak tree. This child's eyes glowed faintly silver. When Kale saw the child, he only smiled. "Another spark," he whispered. Mira squeezed his hand. Another story. The world would always need stories. And as long as sparks were born, the flame would never die. Seasons passed swiftly in Eloria, yet Kale never grew old like other men. The eternal flame within him slowed the years, though his eyes grew wiser and heavier with the weight of guardianship. Mira noticed it most when she looked at him in the firelight. "You carry too much on your shoulders," she would say. Kale would smile and answer, "A flame does not complain about burning." The child born under the oak was named Aaron. He grew up chasing butterflies, climbing trees, and asking endless questions about magic. Kale watched him closely, for Aaron's silver glowing eyes were unlike any spark before. "What do you see when you dream?" Kale asked him one evening. Aaron tilted his head. "I see doors. So many doors. Some are open, some are locked." Mira frowned at Kale. "That doesn't sound ordinary." "Nothing about destiny is ordinary," Kale replied. When Aaron turned 12, he began to hear voices. Not like Kale's whispers from trees or rivers, but deeper, stranger voices that seemed to echo from unseen worlds. "The doors are calling," Aaron said to Kale one night, his voice trembling. Kale placed a hand on his shoulder. "You must learn which doors to open, and which to leave closed." Meanwhile, trouble stirred again in distant lands. Malguth was gone, but remnants of his cult still lingered, calling themselves the Ashborn. They whispered of his return, claiming that death was only another door. Their leader was a woman named Saris, cloaked in black feathers, whose eyes gleamed like obsidian. She sought the same thing Malguth once sought, the eternal flame. But she believed the flame could be twisted into something darker, the eternal shadow. Kale knew Saris would come for him. And for Aaron. He doubled Aaron's training, teaching him to focus, to breathe, to listen. Mira sparred with him daily, flames dancing in her hands. Again, she barked when Aaron faltered. "I'm tired," he protested. "So is the world," she snapped. "But it still turns." Aaron grew strong, but also restless. He longed to see the doors in his dreams, to understand what they meant. One night, against Kale's warnings, Aaron whispered a word he heard in his dreams. The air shimmered, and a silver doorway appeared in the middle of the room. "Aaron!" Kale shouted, rushing forward. But before he could reach him, the door swung open, and Aaron was pulled inside. Mira screamed his name, but the doorway closed, vanishing like mist. Kale stood frozen, his hands trembling. Where did it take him? Mira demanded. Kale closed his eyes. Not here. Not even in this world. They searched every spell, every rune, every whisper from the earth. Irinder, old and frail now, came to their aid. The boy is a dreamwalker, he said, his voice weak but steady. He walks the realms between worlds. Few ever return. Myra's eyes blazed. Then we will tear down every world until we find him. With Irinder's guidance and Kale's flame, they found a way. A ritual, carved in forgotten songs, allowed them to open the silver doors. But each step came with danger. Stepping into another realm meant leaving a piece of oneself behind. If we do this, Kale warned Mira, we may never come back the same. Mira gritted her teeth. Then let's not come back at all until we bring him. The ritual was cast beneath the oak tree, under a moon drenched in silver. A doorway shimmered open, wide and blinding. Kale and Mira stepped through, and the world spun away. They emerged into a realm of endless mist. The ground was made of glass, and the sky swirled with colors that shifted like smoke. Shadows drifted across the horizon, whispering. This place, Mira murmured. It feels wrong. It's not meant for the living, Kale replied. In the distance, they saw Aaron. He stood before a massive door, taller than mountains, its surface carved with runes of flame and shadow. His small hands reached toward it. Aaron! Mira cried, running forward. He turned, his silver eyes glowing brighter than ever. It's calling me, he said. Don't listen. Kale shouted. That door is not yours to open. But then the shadows gathered, swirling into a familiar form. Sarah stepped forth, her feathered cloak spreading like wings. Ah, she purred. The boy walks the realms already. Perfect. Myra's fire blazed in her fists. You won't touch him. Sarah smirked. You can't protect him from destiny. The eternal shadow belongs to him. Kale's chest burned with the eternal flame. No, he growled. The flame is his destiny, not the shadow. He unleashed fire, the realm itself trembling. Mira hurled her flames too, the glass ground shattering beneath them. But Saris laughed, her body dissolving into black feathers that swirled around Aaron. Choose, child, she whispered in his ear. Flame or shadow? Light or darkness? The door waits for you. Aaron's hands trembled. He looked at Kale. Then at Mira. Then at the massive door. I don't know what to choose, he cried. Kale stepped closer, his fire dimming so it would not blind the boy. Choose what feels true, Kale said softly. Myra's voice was harsher. Choose us, Aaron. Choose life. Saris's voice slithered around him. Choose power. Choose eternity. Aaron fell to his knees, clutching his head. The silver light in his eyes flickered wildly. Stop, he screamed. I can't. Suddenly, the massive door shuddered. Cracks of shadow and flame split across its surface. He's awakening it, Kale whispered in horror. The realm shook, skies swirling into chaos. Ceres laughed with triumph. Mira grabbed Kale's arm. We have to pull him back. Kale nodded, summoning the eternal flame. The phoenix's wings burst behind him once more. He wrapped them around Aaron, shielding him from the door's pull. Listen to me, Aaron, Kale said, his voice steady. A door is not a destiny. You are. Mira knelt beside him, fire softening into warmth. You're not alone, she whispered. We're here. We'll always be here. Aaron's sobs quieted. The silver glow in his eyes steadied, turning calm. Slowly, the cracks in the door stopped spreading. The shadows screamed and recoiled, Ceres vanishing in fury. The realm grew silent again. Aaron looked up at them, tears on his cheeks. I don't want doors, he whispered. I just want home. Kale's fire dimmed, his wings folding back. Then home you shall have, he said. He lifted Aaron into his arms. And together they walked back through the silver mist. When they emerged from the doorway under the oak, the night was still, the moon full and bright. Aaron clung to Mira, trembling. I thought I lost you, she whispered fiercely, kissing his hair. Kale stood tall, though exhaustion weighed heavy in his bones. The doors will call again, he said. Mira tightened her grip on Aaron. Then we'll shut them, every time. But Kale knew the truth. Some doors never stayed shut. And one day, Aaron would have to choose again.